In the midst of heavy traffic, Emile and his father, Francois, engage in a heated debate. Emile resists accompanying his father, resulting in their tardiness. Growing weary of Francois's reprimands, Emile exits the car, prompting Francois to pursue him. Suddenly they witness an ambulance in turmoil, its windows shattering amid screams from within. Reacting swiftly, Francois pulls Emile into hiding as the ambulance doors burst open, revealing a half-avian, half-human creature atop a nearby vehicle. Security personnel intervene, attempting to subdue the mutant, whose agitation instills fear in onlookers. Overpowering the officers, the mutant breaks free and flees the scene. Later, Emile and Francois arrive at the hospital to visit Lana, Emile's mother, who is undergoing treatment for her own transformation into an animalistic being. Over the past 2 years, a surge of similar mutations has plagued the nation, often resulting in aggressive behavior. Authorities are exerting their utmost efforts to capture all mutants and confine them in specialized institutions, where they are sedated and studied in the hope of finding a cure. The general populace is gripped by fear and demands strict containment measures for the mutants. Despite Emile's reluctance, his father insists they visit his mother, emphasizing the importance of familial bonds. Plans for Lana's transfer to a state-of-the-art facility in the south are swiftly accepted by Francois, who yearns for a fresh start away from the judgmental eyes of those who knew Lana. Upon entering Lana's room, Emile is unsettled by the claw marks adorning the walls. Though Francois engages Lana in conversation, Emile remains skeptical of her comprehension. Several weeks later, the family resettles near the forest, where Emile starts attending school. Faced with inquiries about his past, Emile fabricates a story about his mother's demise, linking his scar to a lightning strike. As a powerful storm descends upon the town that night, foreboding events unfold. The electricity cuts off abruptly. Emile jerks awake to the raging storm outside. He investigates the window, startled by a peculiar figure peering in. However, with Francois's swift action, the intruder vanishes. The following day, they respond to an urgent call, racing to the nearby lake, where emergency crews have congregated. A submerged ambulance, a grim harbinger of tragedy, looms before them. It's a scene of chaos, with police and firefighters scrambling to retrieve bodies. Francois is gripped by dread, realizing this was the vehicle transporting mutants to a new facility. Now, amidst the wreckage, half of them lie dead, and the others have fled. The officers restrain Francois, his cries for Lana echoing. Officer Julia offers reassurance, asserting Lana's absence from the recovered bodies suggests she's somewhere nearby. Returning home, Francois strategically hangs their clothes on surrounding trees, a hopeful beacon for Lana's return. The following day, during gym class, Emile's team falters in tug-of-war, except for him. Surprisingly, he single-handedly sustains their effort, leading them to victory. Impressed, his peers extend an invitation to a celebratory gathering. Emile hurried back home, his mind consumed by the discovery of claws sprouting beneath his nails. With trembling hands, he wielded tweezers, extracting the tiny manifestations of his transformation. Each tug accompanied by a sharp cry of anguish. Observing his reflection in the mirror, he recoiled at the altering contours of his spine, his rage finding release in the chaotic flinging of bathroom paraphernalia, before seeking solace in the embrace of a tub, his faithful canine companion offering silent solace. Meanwhile, Francois's chance encounter with Julia at the mail center yielded unsettling news of the search's suspension, pending military intervention. Amidst the clamor of panic at the mall, Francois embarked on a solitary investigation, driven by the desperate hope of locating Lana amidst the chaos. However, his quest led not to Lana, but to the unexpected encounter with a harmless squid mutant, the ensuing food fight providing a brief, albeit surreal, diversion. Unbeknownst to authorities, Francois stumbled upon another frightened mutant, his decision to withhold this discovery reflecting a complex mix of compassion and self-preservation. As Friday night descended, Emile found himself immersed in the revelry of a party, the air buzzing with excitement and anticipation. Amidst the festivities, admiration was bestowed upon a fellow partygoer who showcased an array of finely crafted swords destined for a grand presentation at the upcoming Midsummer Festival. However, the evening took a sudden turn as the effects of alcohol began to take their toll on Emile. His celebration cut short by a wave of nausea that sent him tumbling from his seat, the revelry fading into a blur of disorientation and discomfort. Nina extends a vial of medicine to Emile, whose uncontrollable reflexes compel his body to inadvertently lick her hand in the process, eliciting horrified reactions from those present. Overwhelmed by shame and embarrassment, Emile flees into the dense forest, where the eerie sounds of fellow mutants echo in the darkness. The following morning, he awakens by the lake, disturbed by the distant hum of a passing motorboat. Sensing an odd taste in his mouth, Emil hastily spits out blood, before retracing his steps home, where he encounters anti-mutant graffiti along the way. Inside his house, he rushes to the bathroom, retching up a feather, a grim realization of his nocturnal consumption of a bird. Undeterred by police barriers, Francois and Emil venture into the forest in search of Lana. Reflecting on Lana's transformation, Francois reassures Emil of his unwavering love and acceptance. As night descends, they scour the forest in their car, their voices echoing Lana's favorite melody into the night. With dawn's light, Emil notices further changes in his nails, a disconcerting development overshadowed by the sudden disappearance of their loyal canine companion. Pursuing the dog's trail, Emil stumbles upon a surprising encounter. An enigmatic chameleon child perched upon a nearby tree. Suddenly, the avian figure from earlier pounces on Emil, pinning him to the ground and assaulting him with his wings and claws, causing Emil's shoulder to bleed profusely. However, the attacker is halted by Emil's gaze, recognizing the shared mutation. Francois intervenes, pulling Emil away from the assailant and insisting they seek medical attention. Reluctant to reveal the truth, Emil opposes the idea, leading to a tense altercation narrowly avoided by Francois's quick reflexes. They find themselves outside a riding school, where Julia reports a mutant horse attack. Seizing the opportunity, Francois requests assistance, resulting in Emil receiving discreet treatment from an army nurse. Back home, Emil secretly removes some stitches, instinctively tending to his wound. In school, he fixates on Nina's feather necklace, causing a commotion that Nina confronts him about. Struggling with newfound urges, Emil loses control in class, berating the noisy ferrets. Nina extends support, offering solace and inviting him over. While preparing a snack, Emil stumbles upon a dead bird in Nina's fridge, leading to an unexpected revelation about the origin of her necklace. Emil realizes he hadn't consumed it. He left it as a gesture for her. Nina intends to donate it as sustenance for the mutants. Afterwards, Emil ventures into the lake, seizing a fish barehanded, observed by a neighbor. He then searches for the birdman, Fix, attempting flight unsuccessfully. Emil witnesses Fix's struggles and suggests a safer practice area at the lake. After Emil clears the water of branches to prevent further injuries, Fix consents to practice there. Later, Emil struggles to ride his bike home, opting to abandon it in the forest and fabricate a theft story for his father. Meanwhile, at the bar where Francois works, he stumbles upon anti-mutant t-shirts, unsettling him deeply. While taking out the trash, he's startled by noises in the backyard and is suddenly seized by a mutant, who forcefully shoves him to the ground. Noticing the creature is in chains, Francois attempts to calm it down peacefully, only to witness a second mutant fleeing. Suddenly, a co-worker intervenes, pushing the creature back with an oar, revealing it to be her relative, hidden at work. She and Francois endeavor to guide the creature back into hiding, but it panics and dashes to the front of the bar, sparking chaos. Suspecting the other creature might be Lana, Francois rushes to the forest and encounters his wife in full bear form, emitting a noise before departing. Later, during lunch at school, Emil feels something in his mouth and unexpectedly spits out a tooth, grossing out his peers. He passes it off as a baby tooth. In the afternoon, he visits Fix, who repeatedly falls into the water while attempting to fly. Taking a break, Emil inspects Fix's injuries and removes his face bandage, revealing botched surgery by doctors to remove the growing beak. Come evening, Julia accompanies Francois to the forest to assist in the search for Lana, evading police cars along the way. Despite their efforts, they find no trace of any creatures, but Francois is startled to stumble upon Emil's bicycle. Upon returning home, Francois discovers the bathroom sink clogged, prompting him to dismantle the pipe. Inside, he finds hair and claws, finally realizing Emil is also undergoing changes. Once Emil returns home, Francois presents him with the claws and the bicycle, but Emil adamantly denies any involvement. Francois locks up the house, refusing to let Emil in until he confesses, prompting Emil to attempt escape. Desperate, Francois pursues him and tackles him to the ground, embracing him tightly as he breaks down. The following morning, Emil eschews using a fork, opting to eat directly from his plate, but Francois remains supportive. He shares some of Lana's medicine with Emil to help him control his impulses during class. Francois examines Emil's mouth, confirming that the fangs are currently hidden, ensuring others won't notice them. He advises Emil to trim his nails daily and stuffs cotton in his ears before covering them with hair to prevent overwhelming his enhanced hearing with noise. Lastly, Francois demonstrates how to use a hair removal cream on his body. Later that day, Emil converses with Nina on the phone while strolling outside the house. He asks Nina to scream, and to his delight, he can hear her from afar. The next day, Emil visits Fix and discovers he has lost the ability to speak, only able to produce bird sounds. After Emil embraces him, Fix ascends a tree and leaps, demonstrating his newfound ability to fly and reveling in the experience. Subsequently, Emile attends the festival where his father is employed. Francois, infuriated by Emile's presence as he should be in hiding, confronts him, leading to a heated argument escalating to physical altercation. Emile, overwhelmed, bites his father's shoulder, relenting only when Francois brandishes scissors. Distraught, Emile withdraws, encountering Nina, who suggests a walk through the cornfields. Their stroll culminates in a passionate kiss, prompting them to engage intimately on the ground. As Emile removes his shirt, Nina notices the altered hair and spine, but assures him of her prior awareness, continuing their liaison. Returning to the festival, Emile heads to the restroom, cornered by a classmate who witnessed his encounter with Nina. The classmate employs a device emitting a noise intended for animals, causing distress to Emile's sensitive ears. Frightened, Emile retaliates, leaving scratch marks on the classmate's face before fleeing into the fields. With locals and authorities alerted, they arm themselves and pursue Emile, whose bark deters a dog's approach. Startled, the men open fire, triggering an alarm. Emile sprints with all his might, as a horde of pursuers trails behind. Just as a man prepares to shoot, Fix swoops in, dispatching the assailant with lethal precision. Urging Emile to follow, Fix leads him into the forest, pursued by a police car. Emile attempts to halt the pursuit by crossing the lake, but gunfire from the shore claims Fix's life. Overwhelmed with grief, Emile cradles his fallen friend, weeping bitterly. While Francois and the hunters discover Fix's lifeless body, Emile eludes their detection. Meanwhile, in town, a towering mutant prowls as military convoys advance towards the forest. In the following days, Emile remains concealed, sustaining himself on foraged fruits. As dusk falls, he ascends a tree, joining the nocturnal symphony with his mournful howls. During a tempestuous night, Emile seeks refuge in a cave, startled by the approach of a bear, only to recognize it as his mother, Lana. Tenderly acknowledging their bond, Lana departs, beckoning Emile to follow. Venturing deeper, Emile encounters a diverse community of mutants, including the Chameleon Girl. As flares illuminate the sky, signaling the army's approach, Emile realizes their sanctuary is under threat. Emile and the other mutants attempt to flee and take cover, but the soldiers employ a disorienting sound, rendering the creatures incapacitated and vulnerable to capture. Only the Chameleon Girl evades capture, utilizing her camouflage abilities to evade detection. Later, at the police station, Francois assists Emile in fabricating a story of drunkenness and accidental forest entry. However, when Emile struggles to sign the release papers, his hand uncontrollably breaks the sheet. Reacting instinctively, Francois incapacitates the officer, ensuring their escape. With quick thinking, Francois forges Emile's signature, facilitating their departure from the station. As they flee in the car, pursued by the police, Francois assures Emile of their avoidance of any institution. With determination, he navigates through obstacles, eventually crashing through a fence to reach the safety of the forest. Urging Emile to run, they both revel in a sense of liberation as Emile's howls echo through the woods.